Let's get this party started. Okay, give me just a few minutes to get my old boomer self working here. I'm not a boomer, but I guess you know how it goes. Just let me make sure the sound is coming through good before we get going. Hopefully, it's not too loud, too abrasive, and then we'll get kind of going from there. Is that looks like we got Old Contemptible is in the chat. Old Contemptible, can you give me a mic check for me? Let me know that this mic is working. Is it too loud? Is it just right? How are we sounding in this crazy thing? Just curious. Okay, we'll just give this a minute. Okie dokie. I think it's coming through okay. Yep, good. Okay. Old Contemptible says mic is working good. Alright, that works good for me. Alright, so I think you guys might notice that, hopefully you do anyway, I upgraded the lighting for the live stream. So yeah, hopefully it looks a lot better than it used to. It was used to the green screen would never work. There's a little bit on the edge up in I can't, I'm not a weatherman, so this is hard to do here. But that's because it's the edge of the green screen. I couldn't get it to push against the wall anymore. So we're going to have to live with that little blobbity blob there. But other than that, I think I'm pretty satisfied with the new lighting I got. I'm pretty happy with it. I am wearing the hat because the light still kind of affects my eyes just a smidge. So yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with it the best we can, though. All right. So I've got a huge live stream here for us. I think this might encompass a bit of time, but I think it's going to be a really good topic. I've been doing this series on the units of the different nations, and I figured, you know what, heck, we're just going to go to the live stream format. I think that way we can kind of answer questions better and do that, and then I can maybe edit it down and get it into a more, how can we say, edited and smoother version, because a lot of people have the attention span of a acorn. So yeah, it's that. There's about a 40-second gap between me typing and the text showing up on the video. I think that's pretty normal, if I'm not mistaken, because there is a little bit of a delay on the stream, so that might be normal. I hope it's normal. We're just going to say it's normal. Hopefully it is. If it causes more problems, maybe we can restart the stream. But hopefully it didn't. Hopefully we'll get this thing and it'll work fine. But anyways, so what I'm going to do with this stream is I am going to take it and we're going to explain the Russian units. We're going to go through each one. We're going to talk about the tactics that the Russians have. And we're going to talk about, you know, basically a campaign guide for them, and then we'll go into the Q&A and go into all kinds of crazy off-topic stuff if we need to. And of course, we got the live chat here, so don't forget to show love in the live chat, and we'll kind of get started here. And like I said, I'm gonna kind of split this thing up and shove it onto the YouTube page later as a edited down version, so it people don't have to bog through the whole live stream, if you will. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. And like I said, we'll go back and forth between discussions and the live chat. So don't forget to hit that live chat up if you are here. And let me just see if I can get to my screen. Michael is in the live chat. Hey, Michael, how you doing? And we got Old Contemptible still, so thank you guys for joining the live stream. Let's get into our Russian units here. Let's have a talk and see what we got. Now, Russia, it's kind of one of those nations that I think Empire kind of really kind of screwed over Russia in a lot of ways. And I say that because Russia had a really good army at this time period. A very good army, as a matter of fact. And I don't know that it translates well to the game, and we're going to kind of discuss that as we go in. So let's take a look at the Russian units. We're going to start off. Actually, let's start off with their basic units that you start the game with. So the line infantry, as you can see, Russian line infantry have 25 reload skill, and that is only less. The only one that's less than that is Austria. And that's pretty terrible for a lot of reasons. Now, they do have 40 accuracy, so at least they got that better than Austria. But the 25 reload skill... oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Let me back this on up. Russia actually has 35 accuracy, and they have 15 reload skill. So they're actually the worst in the nation. Worst nation in the game as far as their reload skill. They are the slowest firepower units in the game as far as their regular line goes. Now, as far as their melee is concerned, they're the best standard line infantry in the game for melee attack, tied with Russia, but tied with France. But where they top France is in the charge bonus. So that impact from their charge is extraordinarily good with 13. It's 10 more. 3 more than 10 for France and 10 for Prussia. So that's extremely good for charge bonus. Now, so what does that mean for you if you have a basic? Because most people in a campaign are going to have a lot of line infantry. There's a lot of line infantry spamming folks out there. So what does that mean for you if you have a Russia build with a lot of line infantry? That means you basically have to know you cannot get in a sustained shootout with your opponent, whoever that might be. Whatever nation it is, you're going to get outshot. So you have to think about ways to supplement your cav and your other units or get into melee situations with your opponent. That way you can give yourself the strength of what your army build is, which is in melee. It's all about melee with Russia. So that is their basic line infantry. Now, if we look at their militia, they actually have one of the best militias in the game, maybe just a little bit behind the Ottomans with their Israelis. But with the Cossacks, you get a really good unit, 70 range, 30 accuracy, 20 reload skill. The morale is 5, which, is basic for a militia. But this unit is actually pretty effective. It has pretty decent charge bonus. For a militia, it's not bad with the melee attack. And the defense is not great, though, 6. So, again, Russia is not a defensive melee nation. Now, let me be very clear about that. Even though they are a good melee nation, they are not good in melee defense. You have to be the aggressor with Russia. You can't be somebody that sits back and likes to defend if you play Russia. That's the whole thing as you play Russia. So, that's something that's very important to keep in mind. So another unit you're going to get in early game are these... Oh God, I'm going to butcher this name. So I'll just say the last name, Strelsky. I messed that up. I'm going to get butchered in the comments for that. But this unit actually is a unit that can be used in conjunction with Russia's line infantry to actually give you a little bit of oomph. Now, their morale is only 3, which isn't great, but they have a great charge bonus of 12. Which is better than other nations' line infantry's charge bonus. Their melee attack is 11, which is way better than any other nation's line infantry. Now, their defense is 8, so again, not a great defensive unit in melee. A great offensive unit. Okay, so we'll take a second. Don't forget about the live chat. We are starting to get a couple viewers in here. We'll be pushing back and forth. to the live chat, so don't forget to hit us up. We got Old Contemptible and Michael in there right now. And if you have questions, comments, go ahead and throw those down. And as we get through this, I'll push back over the live chat and give you guys some input on what's going on. So anyways, this unit right here, if you tap this on an army with a great general, now obviously generals do one thing for you in campaign. If you have a good general, they can get traits that can boost the morale of your army. And you can get your these guys from a morale of 3 all the way up to sometimes 8 if you have a really good general. So that's something to keep in mind. So having good generals with your army is vitally important, especially playing as Russia and any type of melee nation, especially like the natives. Russia is, like I said, a melee nation. Whether you think of them with all the musket firing units, they are still basically a melee unit that can shoot. So let's take a look at a couple of their other units here. Now, early game, you can get Siberian Hunters. Now, how do you get Siberian Hunters? You're going to have to build your military governor's barracks. Now, there's a couple of regions I like to build this in, Komi being one of them. Old Contemptible says, Strelsky, yeah, he's giving me the pronunciation. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, there we go. That's a good way. Are very reliant on generals, and yes, very true, very true. And that's the thing. So with the low morale armies, your armies can mass rout. So that's a really good point that Old Contemptible makes. So having those generals in your army builds is vital, and not just that, bringing him to those around where those low morale units are will really help make sure that they stay in a fight. Okay, so that's something vitally important. We'll get into tactics here in a little bit. No, that's all good. All good indeed. I appreciate the help on that. Okay, so the Siberian Hunters. So in Komi is a region that usually you don't make a lot of money no matter what you do. So sometimes I'll put a military barracks there, and that's a good place where you can build your Siberian Hunters. Now, Siberian Hunters is a really good skirmishing unit, and you can basically recruit as many of those as you want, just like you can with the Ottomans and their skirmishers that they have available to them. Which, golly, I can't think of it because I'm going to be a blonde at the moment and forget what they are. Kurdish Hillman, I think. Hold on. Afghan Hillman and Kurdish Hillman. So it's basically the same as the Ottomans, Kurdish Hillman and Afghan Hillman, that they're able to recruit in the same method. But for Russia, that's a good thing because you're going up against a lot of European foes as well, and they're not going to have access to recruiting a skirmisher like you will. So that's something to really keep in mind. And Old Contemptible puts up their Grenadiers. Yeah, so it takes a long time before the Austrians can build the Grenadiers, and they have to do that in Croatia. Which is the only place that Austria can build the Grenadiers. But that takes quite a while. You can actually build Siberian Hunters fairly quickly. You just have to be able to build the military's governor barracks, which does take a little bit of time. But later in the video, I'll kind of give you some strategies on how to speed that up so that you can get to these Siberian Hunters a little faster. But even still, it will give you a little bit of jump with the ranged skirmish unit over your competitors, and that actually gives you a firepower unit that you can put down firepower while you're using your other units to push melee. So that's a really good unit. A lot of people don't really think about that unit a lot. And then also another early unit that you can get to is, of course, the Cav. The Cav you're going to get with Russia is really good. You can get some great Cav. Of course, you got the Regiment Horse, which is the better of the early cav you get. But you also have the, let me go back to the Streleltsy cav. And this one does not have great morale of only 5, but it does have a really good charge bonus of 11 and attack of 9. Now, it is a cheaper cav, so you can spawn quite a bit of them, and it gives you some good shock cav for on the cheap that you can tag into an army and actually help you to beat some of your other nations that you're going to be going up against. So it's not a bad cav, and it's something that can help you out quite a bit. Now, once you have researched Dragoons, you actually have access to one of the better units that Russia has early game, and that would be the Cossacks. Now, the Cossack light cav is extremely good for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a mounted firing unit that can give you not just skirmishing ability, but it also gives you great speed. It gives you a melee attack of 9 and a charge bonus of 13. So it kind of replaces that Streltsy unit and gives you a unit that has a mounted firing ability. Now, the thing about it is that the only disadvantage is you only get 10 ammunition. So it's a lot like a Delhi cav. The same, only 10 ammunition, 35 accuracy. So it's a lot like a Delhi cav, but it gives you a great light cav unit that can really turn the course of a battle for you. So it's a unit that I love using in my campaigns, and one that I think you would as well. Now, as you get into the mid-level campaign, you're going to come across other units that will be more beneficial to you as Russia. And that would be, of course, you get Grenadiers. And unfortunately for Russia, again, going back to what we've been talking about, Russia is kind of screwed over with their Grenadiers, because their Grenadiers are, in fact, the worst reloading Grenadier in the game. So 25 reload, which is actually on par with a Prussian line infantry of 20, or I'm sorry, not a Prussian, but a standard line infantry for reload. So if you look at that, that's pretty bad when you only get 60 men, and their melee attack is where it's at. Again, 12 melee, 18 charge bonus, and you can see versus the other nations where you're getting. Now, I'm going to switch over to the live chat. Old Contemptible says, a bit like Delhi Horsemen, and yes, exactly right. Mid-level campaign, do you mean, yeah, around 1720-ish. So mid-level campaign, what I mean by that is once you get into building drill schools, once you've researched a little bit of tech, like your ring bayonet, your grenades, improved grenades. Once you've improved that, I consider that kind of mid-level. Now, late campaign, I would consider once you've increased your school up to level of Army Staff College, I would consider that late game. So once you've recruited to that point, built your campaign up to that point, I consider that late campaign. So it doesn't take long to get to that late campaign. But I think that's kind of a good way of explaining what you're able to get. Daisy in the chat sounds like you gotta give him the Daisy Dukes. That's right. Daisy's been with us for a while, and yeah, I used to do. I was doing a live stream on the Pirates, and I brought up Daisy Dukes. Yeah, I know, one of my crazy moments. That's great. That's great. It's great to have you back in the chat, Daisy. I appreciate it. So again, everybody, don't forget about the live chat. We got the live chat going, and I'll be going over there to check on it every so often. Now, other units that you're going to get kind of mid-level, you're going to get the hand mortar. Now, this is a unit I want to talk about for a couple reasons. A lot of people love their hand mortars. They just love these guys to death. But to me, I just am not sold on this unit. And there's a couple reasons why. I am not sold on hand mortars. Now, two nations are able to recruit these. It's Ottomans and the Russians. So it's a unique unit to those two factions. Now, with the 50 accuracy, that seems really good, but it's a lot like a bow in the fact that you're shooting, and all the opponent has to, the other unit has to do that's being shot at is move, and the grenades will land in a spot where it doesn't affect them. Now, that's really bad because you only got 6 ammunition, so you really have to use them effectively with only 6 grenade volleys out of them. We got Kyle Fish in the chat. Hey, Kyle, how you doing? More. Yes, he got to me right before I said it. So he is absolutely right. 6 ammo is the biggest problem with the hand mortars. If they had 20 ammo, that would be just a fine unit. But with only 6, you're out of ammo really quickly, and then you're looking at a melee unit. Now, I will say for Russia, their hand mortars are actually a decent melee unit with a charge bonus of 11, which is not as good as their other Grenadiers, and it's not as good as their line infantry with 13. The defense is 15. They're a defensive unit, but you got to keep in mind they only have 60 men. That's why I am not a big fan of hand mortars. So, that's a unit that just, it has its uses, especially in maps that you're fighting that have a lot of hills. It's a decent unit there. Or if you're attacking walls, it's okay, but you're limited on ammo, so it's kind of a bad unit to use. Daisy says, from my experience, when they hit, they pack a punch. They can, yes. And they can cause a big disruption because it will make units scatter away from where they are firing. So there is uses to the unit. It's not like it doesn't have any. It can be used effectively, but the problem is you're spending a little bit. I think it's a little bit less than a Grenadier, but you're only getting 6 ammo. So your effectiveness in using this as a disruption has to be used extremely well. So you can use it kind of to part the waves, if you will. Use the hand mortar to basically get units in front of you to cause that disruption while you send in a melee push behind it. I mean, that's one way you can use them. But again, you have to use it coordinated with other units. You can't. Some people like to put them behind their line infantry when they're volleying, and they'll put them behind their line infantry and let them shoot over top of their line infantry because that's something they do. But again, it's, there's a lot of different ways you can use them, but I just don't find them highly effective in my experience. So late campaign, you're going to get, let's talk about a little bit of other mid-level. Of course, you're going to get light Dragoons. Everybody knows I love my light Dragoons. And Russia also has light Dragoons. Now, it's going to be a standard light Dragoon unit. So it's going to be on par with every other nation's light Dragoons, with the exception of Sweden. Sweden is the only nation that has a different light Dragoon. And the difference with Sweden is that they have a larger number of men. Sweden has 75 versus a large unit size of men would be 60, or 80 in a huge unit, and 100 for a Swedish light Dragoon. So that's kind of what you're looking at with those units. Now, with the other Dragoon you're going to get, again, Dragoons, I'm going to say this again, Dragoons, the difference between Dragoons and light Dragoons is Dragoons are a little bit more expensive than light Dragoons. You have to dismount your Dragoons to be able to use them in a rifle fight. And, by the way, you have to spread them out to one long line because only the first line will shoot. So if you have them, like when they dismount, they mostly go into 3 ranks. So if you do that, if you have 60 men, that means only 20 of them are going to get a shot off. And that is not good, in my opinion. Now, with light Dragoons, the advantage is you get all the policing bonuses, everything out of your Dragoons that you get, your regular Dragoons, but you get a unit that can shoot while mounted, and you can still dismount them and use them, and they volley all the men at once, such as a Minutemen would do. So that's highly advantageous unit to use. And some of the other units that you're going to get, kind of mid-level game, is the Cossack Ataman Cav. Now, I love this Cav. This is a great Cav, a great shot Cav. Now, the only thing is you only get 2 of these, but you can use these really well, and it's charge bonus of 14, defense of 9, melee attack of 10. But this is a good fast Cav and a really good shot Cav. So this is the best shot Cav that you'll have as Russia early game. And, of course, you get, not early game, but mid-level game. And then, of course, you'll get to the Hussars. The Hussars with the charge bonus of 13. A little bit faster than the Ataman, but it doesn't have the same impact as that Ataman Cav. Because this Ataman Cav, with a morale of 8, you can really kind of keep it together a little bit longer and provide you a little bit better impact. So I really love this Cav, the possibilities you can do with it. Hussars are another unit that I like using as well. Daisy says, I've never really used Dragoons except Light Dragoons. The most I have used them is as extra Cav and just replace them with Light Dragoons when they die. Yes, that's the same thing I do as well. That is a really good point. So, I mean, early game, I have used Dragoons just because of the novelty of it. But like she says, after I get Light Dragoons researched, then or get the the military academy built where I can get my Light Dragoons, I replace all my Dragoons with Light Dragoons, and they can be used as a great Cav in the game, one of the best. Now, also a couple other missile Cav that you will have access to as the Kalmuks and the Tartars. So these units fire bow, accuracy of 20, reload skill of 5. Now, that might seem like not much, but you got to remember, your reload skill is based on the type of weapon that you're using. So a bow is different from a musket. So the reloading skill for a bow is actually faster than the 5 gives it credit for, if that makes sense. So ammunition of 20, you will actually burn through them fairly fast, believe it or not. A morale of 4 is not great, but the thing that you can use these units for effectively is the fact that while you're fighting, I can't even speak. While you're kind of fighting in the regions that have a lot of mountainous terrain, you can shoot these bows over hills and such and hit units that can't hit you. So there's a lot of ways that you can use bow infantry and Cav in Empire that is very effective, such as the Ottomans when they use their Armenian archers. So these units can have their effects, especially, like I said, in those hilly, mountainous terrains. Light Dragoons are so good as they hit and run tactics, perfect for damaging and even routing units before they actually start the battle. It is so true. Very true. I actually love using Light Dragoons in India. That's actually my go-to army build in India, is almost the exclusive Light Dragoon builds if I'm a European nation. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other units that you get later in the campaign. Of course, your guards. Now, your guards are going to be pretty much standard to any other nation's guards, so they don't get ripped off there. Russia's guards are 50 accuracy, 55 reload, ammunition of 15, melee attack of 9, and charge bonus of 13, defense of 18, morale of 11. So, I mean, it's on par with the other nation's guards, so not really much to talk about there. Simonovsky foot guards are, God, they look great too, by the way. Really sharp looking unit. They have 50 accuracy, 50 reload. So let's take that into account to the regular guards, where you have 55 reload. So it's not going to shoot as fast as a regular guard, but it does give you better melee. So that's something to consider. If you're wanting the guards to supplement firepower and you're getting into a fight with other nations' guards, then the Simonovsky foot guards are not going to usually prevail in a guard-to-guard fight. You would want to have your guards for that type of thing. Now, if you want the Simonovsky to provide you with a unit that's flexible, that can give you a really great impact charge of 19 guys, and a melee attack of 13, a defense of 18. Now let's take a look at a guard's defense. A guard's defense is 18, but when you add in again the Simonovsky's charge bonus, that impact that they get, especially if you're able to get a downhill charge on a unit, it can be quite devastating. So it's definitely a really cool unit, but again, if you're wanting a guard for firepower, then you're going to want to stick with the regular guards. Now, of course, with all your European nations, you get light infantry. So their light infantry is basic standard to all your other light infantries. 55 accuracy, 90 range, 30 reload, 20 ammunition. You know, it's basic to all the other nations what you're going to get. Now, riflemen with Russia, again, basic to other nations' riflemen. You're not going to get anything special. 35 reload, 70 accuracy. We've gone over this before, so I don't want to really spend too much time. Now, if we're talking heavy cav for Russia, Russia's got the best heavy cav in the game. And I would say that, challenge me on that. I know that Prussia's got a really great heavy cav unit as well in the guard cav, but the guard cheval, this unit with a charge bonus of 19, a melee attack of 21, and I'm telling you, when you use it in a battle, it is devastating. It makes the winged hussars look like children's play. Problem with it, and with all the heavy cav, it's a very slow moving unit. So you have to really pay attention to how you use this unit in a melee attack. So, but once you do get a charge off, it can be quite devastating to any units that you hit. And of course, you're going to have household cav, which, same as other nations' household cav. It's going to be 17 charge bonus, 15 defense, 12 morale, and you're limited to 6 units. Now, with the guard cheval, you're limited to 2. So you have to really make. Usually, if I use those units, I put both of them in the same army, and that's kind of like my real hammer army that I put forth with a real aggressive build. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, with artillery for Russia, you don't get anything special. All your artillery is basic to other European nations. So I don't really think we need to go into that. With your navy, it's the same thing. It's basic navy. You're not going to get. Actually, I might be wrong in that. It looks like Russia they actually have a more expensive recruitment cost than the average nation for their fifth rates. Their upkeep cost is the same, but that is really the only difference. Now, why they get screwed, I guess maybe it's because traditionally in history, they have to build their ships in cold water ports like Crimea and up in Ingria. So maybe that's why it's more expensive to build their ships. But they are a little bit more expensive than the other nations. France has the most expensive of all of them. But France gets a little bit of added benefits because they actually have more speed than other nations. And they actually have a little bit more hull strength, not as much as Great Britain. And USA either, as that matter. But the thing I like about France, like I said, is that speed, and I really use that to effect. Okay, so that kind of goes over the Russia. No, they weren't really known for their navy, but they actually, in the Battle of Crimea, which is way after this game, they actually were the first one to use explosive shell. But early, I mean, in the 1700s, their navy, you're right, it wasn't really well known. So that gives you kind of a basic overview for their units. Now, if we want to look at, oops, let me switch over here. You know what? I don't even, you know what I realized? I didn't even switch over my camera so you guys could see that. I'm such a ding dong. Oh, well. I do apologize for that. I was going to switch the camera over so you could see. So, yeah, I'm kind of a ding dong there. I apologize for that. Now, we won't dwell on it. You know how old people get. They forget a lot. All right, so we're going to switch over to the next topic, which the next topic is tactics. The tactics that you're going to use using Russia. So, with Russia, bear with me just a moment. I'm going to actually switch over to my screen, so I'm actually showing you what I'm talking about versus just talking about it. Okay. Yeah. Blonde moment there. All right, so let me get logged into Empire here. And we'll talk about some good tactics to use their army with. Had to get me some sweet tea, all this talking. All right. So, let's see if we got any medium. No. All right. Let's take a look at. Actually, I was kind of fiddling around with a Russia campaign, so I want to kind of load into that and discuss with you guys a little bit. So I might switch over on the topic. We might actually talk about campaign strategies first. And then we can kind of go into tactics of using the army. All right, so I'm a couple turns into this. Is 1703, and I want to discuss what I did on this. Kyle says the army build I'm trying to in campaign is 6 line infantry, 3 grenadiers, 3 art, 2 cav, 2 missile cav, 2 light infantry, 1 dragoon, 1 general. Fun build, can handle any situation using the absolute. Oh yeah, you're liking that. I love that mod, man. I think you are you the guy that created it, Kyle, because that is a great mod. One I'm actually going to be doing a little bit more stuff on as well. Switching over here. So this campaign I'm in 1703. So I'm 7 turns in. And what I did in this campaign to get started off on turn 1, what I did is I sold a couple regions off to get a little bit of money. I spent all my money to upgrade everything first, so I cleared out my income. I cleared out because you only start with 7,000 with Russia, so not much. Or is it 6,000? Maybe it's 6,000. So what I did is I actually sold Don Viasco to Georgia, and I think I got 7,000 or 6,500 for it. Oh, you did not create it. Okay. But I sold Don Viasco to Georgia, and I think it was 6,500 or 7,000 out of him. Yeah, it's a great mod. I really do love using it too. Okay, so I sold that to them, got some money, and I directly spent that on upgrading more buildings, mostly in Moscow and Ukraine. And then I took Arkistan, however you say it, and I sold that to Dagestan. So I got I think it was 6,500 out of them as well. And or it was either that or 6,000. They might only have 6,000, so it might only have been 6,000 I got for that. And I used that money to finish upgrading. I upgraded to cobbled roads and all that. So this is all turn 1, by the way. And then I sold Karelia to Sweden because I know that Sweden is wanting that region. So I sold that to them for 7,000. And I then finished upgrading some of the other regions I had. Now, I usually don't mess with Komi too early. But Komi is the region I talk about that I do build up this region to the military governor's barracks so that I can get Siberian hunters. But in this particular campaign that I'm doing, I actually did something different. I actually just used my money to build up these regions, getting the infrastructure built up a little bit. And again, the thing you want to remember is always build up your capital region first. So I built up all my towns to get the industry going, so I'm making the most money possible out of Moscow, because that's my capital region. All the money flows to that region. So I made sure that I built that region up with all this money I got. Now, why on earth would I trade all these regions to these guys and make my empire smaller? And the other thing I did is I, of course, switched out my ministers, but also I changed my tax rate on the lower class. I dropped it to the second level, so that dropped my income as well. But what it does for me is I am now only, at this point, with 7 turns in, I'm only 2 turns away from getting another town built in Moscow. And all my other regions are growing in population. 0.7 here. 0.41 here. So all of them are growing. Now Komi, there's not much you can do for Komi. It's just one of those regions that's kind of a nightmare, if you will. So by selling all these regions, I gave myself some early start money, and I directly recruited on the first turn. I recruited 2 Cossacks, and I recruited some more line infantry, and I built up an army here that you can see. I took up, and I took Ingria from Sweden. So I took that up there, and I just auto-resolved it because I didn't want to sit through. I'm just doing it as an experiment. And then the army in the south I took, and I went after Crimea. Now, what I did is, by the time you're able to move these 2 armies, and it's already over here, but I took them, combined the 2 armies in the south, and went and sieged Crimea. And again, on turn 1, I recruited some Cossacks, and I took them directly down to enter that fight. Turn 2, I recruited 2 Regiment Horse, and I took them down because I laid siege to Crimea. Now, I also, in that, recruited a couple extra generals. As you can see, I had 2 in that army. I recruited 2 more. And what I did is I was able to actually demand surrender. Before I even fought with Crimea, I demanded surrender from them and made them a protectorate. So now, Crimea Cartane is my protectorate. So what does that do for me? Why shouldn't I just take that myself? Because it does have a port. The reason I did is because it gives me a trade partner that's forced upon them. They have to trade with me as long as I don't break their trade route. But they're connected to me by land. So now I have a willing trade partner throughout the entire campaign, as long as I want them anyway. And so that's going to boost my trade income. And also it gives me more other income. So half of their income goes to me. And I don't have to sit on it with my army. I directly took that army from there. Again, it lost no men in damage. And I took Don Viasco back from Georgia. And now I'm marching on to take Arcastrim back, because I'm at war with both of these guys. Now, they do have an army somewhere. It's hidden. They could be going after Kazan or going after Don Viasco. Who knows? But I'm going to take Dagestan out of this fight right away. Hey, Landfill, I appreciate you joining. Don't worry, you'll be able to catch up on it, and I did have a kind of a mess up there. So you didn't miss too much. I just talked about the units. Right now we're talking about the campaign, and we're gonna later talk about battle tactics using the Russian army. So I'm going to then bring this army over here and take this back, and then I'm going to take Dagestan itself. Hopefully before they take an army to take another region. Because if they do, that's going to cause a little bit more problems. But I am recruiting some more men here, because we do have an Ottoman army on the loose, because they still have land access to Crimea, as they used to be a protectorate. As you can see here, I don't believe they're at war with the Ottomans, but we'll just make sure. No, they are not. So they still have land access between each other, because that's a former protectorate of theirs. As you can see, they are a trade partner still with with the Ottomans. So I'm building up an army here. So that's going to be the third army I built. My income at this point is 5,000, which is pretty darn good for Russia, if you know what I mean. Because a lot of people, Russia is a very difficult nation to play for a lot of people. But doing this method, again, it's only 1703, and I've built up my economic power quite rapidly, and I've knocked out Ingria, and now I can take out Sweden in piecemeal, because now their army from Estonia, Livonia, and Riga is coming up here, and I can now take them out in piecemeal because I've already knocked out Ingria, and then I can just swoop over here and knock out them with no problem. And now I have a port where I can recruit a couple 6 rates and then demolish the port, and then I'll have my trade port. And also, I'll get another port here later as well, but I only need to get a couple 6 rates, because those 6 rates will be able to provide me the establishing time I need to be able to get 5th rates, capturing them from Sweden. So that's kind of my plan with this campaign. And this army here, after we take out this army, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take out Estonia and Livonia with this army. And then I can trade this to somebody else, because I don't really need to hold on to it. It's just going to put me at conflict with Prussia later. Or I can hold on to it, either way. And then I can go up here and take Karelia back. Now, doing this is great for a couple reasons. Because the southern army that I have here, after we do take over and knock out Dagestan, I can then put all my effort into taking out Georgia. Now, Georgia at this point in the campaign is still early. They only have a few units. Now, they might have recruited some more, but as you can see, they have not built up to get a, what is it called? Can't even think of what it's called off the top of my head. A military's governor's barracks. Oh, they do have. No, that's an encampment. So they haven't built up their military governor's barracks yet. I can easily get over there before they've been able to recruit line infantry. All they're going to have the ability to recruit is militia, and they can only recruit 2 at a pop, I believe. Or maybe it's 1. I can't remember how many you can recruit with that. Maybe it's just 1. I should know as many hours I put in the game. But I should be able to knock out Georgia quickly before they become a nuisance. And now what I can do is I can give these regions to Crimea, helping them become stronger, and creating a buffer between me and Persia, who will be at war with me as soon as I take Dagestan. And also the Ottomans, so I don't have to sit and babysit these regions. As soon as I trade them to my protectorate, they become, the public order goes away, and I still get 50% of the income. And I can go after things that I want more. And what in the world would I want more than holding on to these regions? Obviously, the things I'm going to want more is expanding up north, taking out Sweden. I can concentrate my resources on taking Sweden out, and once I have taken out Sweden, I can then turn my eye on my former ally, Poland, Lithuania. And that might be forced on me quicker than I want, because of having Crimea as a protectorate. They might declare on Crimea Cartane. So I need to be prepared for that. So knocking Dagestan and Georgia out of this campaign early will have huge benefits to me in the long run in this campaign. Again, it provides a buffer because Crimea is not going to go to war with Ottomans. So providing that buffer. Now, it is possible that Persia does declare war on Dagestan because they don't have any love for the Ottomans. They're going to be at war with the Ottomans. They're not going to have love for Crimea. So it's possible I do go into war with them as well. But I can use this army. It's a cheaper army in the fact that the biggest expense I have is the Cav. The Cossacks are not huge expense, and obviously the Streltsy are not an expense either. So I can use that army to rough up the Persians, and they're also going to be at war with the Ottomans as well, so that will help me there. Now I will need the central army to take out the Ottomans, but I can give Moldavia to Crimea once I take that. And that is also, again, going to put me at conflict more sooner rather than later against Poland and Lithuania. But you know what Poland and Lithuania has? Nice, juicy, fat, rich potential regions. If you've never noticed, these regions have farms that are high yield, and they produce very well. They have wealthy towns, and damn it, I want them. I want them for my empire. So Poland and Lithuania being an ally is a short-lived thing. So I've got to deal with these enemies quickly to be able to turn my attention to them. Once I take over them, it will be great. Daisy, thank you for joining the chat. I will see you later. So again, don't forget about the live chat, guys. I do have the live chat going. I will refer over to the live chat as we go over here from time to time. Landfill asks, would it be better to just take Dagestan and keep Georgia as a buffer? I keep a small military presence in Dagestan to stop them from taking it. That could be a possibility. It's something that definitely is a possibility to do, to keep Dagestan for myself and just give Georgia to Crimea. The reason I definitely would want to give Georgia to Crimea is, number one, because it has a college and it will take a long as hell time to convert them over. I'll be sitting on that region with a lot of manpower, and honestly, that takes a lot of money away from me. Early campaign, you're struggling to get money. Early campaign, you are in a crunch because you don't have a lot of income. So any way you can kind of bypass that problem is beneficial for you in the long run, because in the late game is the time where you'll start getting 20,000 a turn, 30,000 a turn, and so on. And that really makes it easy for you to get your bank account really juiced up, if you will. But yeah, Dagestan, keeping it for yourself, it's definitely a possibility to keep that for yourself. That's something that would be possible. And even if you just take it and leave it in your control, let it rebel, go over here, knock out Georgia, and then come back and take it. Because you're going to give Georgia away anyway. So at least you've knocked them out. You don't have to worry about them. It'll take 3 turns for them to rebel. Come over here, knock out Georgia, and then go back. So that is definitely a possibility. And then you can sit on it with your army. Since you're going to have to keep this army here anyway, that might not be a bad idea, Landfill. Because this army is one that you're going to have to keep for the Persians anyway. So maybe keeping Dagestan is a good idea. So anyways, this is some good tips that might help you to speed up and improve your Russia campaign, because this can be a struggle for a lot of people. And I've gone through it myself, because typically what will happen is if you're just playing it a standard way, Georgia and Dagestan will declare war on you within the first 5 or 6 turns. You're going to be at war with Sweden because of Denmark, unless you cancel that alliance. And even still, Sweden's going to come after you because they want Karelia, and they're going to come after Moscow. So you're going to be at war with Sweden. You're going to be at war with Georgia, Dagestan, Crimea, Ottomans you're already at war with. So you're going to be at war with a lot of people very quickly, and you have very little money to build armies, build up your regions, and to get that done. So this offers a really good solution to be able to give you that extra income to where you're able to build those armies and take what you want, build up your regions where you want, because otherwise you're looking at losing all these regions anyway and not getting anything for them. So hopefully that helps you guys out with a little bit of help on giving some good tactical ideas on how to start a campaign. Let me switch over to the live chat if you guys got any questions. History Expand and Explain. This is one of my favorite Total War games. Just love it. I love it too. I'm glad you love it because it is, to me, the reason I find it my favorite Total War, in my view, is the expanse you get at it, the different cultures that it has in the game. It just adds such a nice, unique flair to it. Not saying that other Total Wars games don't have cultures in them that are different and unique, but given the colonial type of feel to the game, it really does make it interesting. And I love how they built the regions and how you have to have different towns that build different economic situations for your nation, your empire, if you will. So that's one of the reasons why I love Empire so much. But hopefully this helps you guys out with starting a Russia campaign, because it can be a challenge. Like I said, just because money is hard to come by early, and being able to build up your income quickly is a big factor to really kicking some butt. So again, if you guys missed this that are joining the stream now, I will be breaking the stream down into edited versions, and I'll be uploading those, but I'll also keep the live stream to where you can go and view it all as an entirety. But I'm going to break down the different sections and edit them and give it a little more watchability for those people that have less attention span. History Expand and Explained says, have you ever played Dark Mod or do you prefer vanilla? That's a good question. Yes, I have played Dark Mod for quite a while. For a couple years I played Dark Mod, but I find vanilla better. And the reason is there's better things about Dark Mod. The graphics look better. The size of the units is a nice thing to have because it puts you in a very immersive feel in Dark Mod. And I think that's the things that people love about Dark Mod is the scale of it, the sounds of it, the battles in it. But the thing I find that hurts my fun and enjoyment I have in Dark Mod is you get so many armies that it becomes such a scrap and just a bogged down fight that it just makes it too hard to spend a decent amount of time on the campaign, because I've got 8,000 hours in the game, and my God, it will take forever to beat a campaign unless you just go through blitzing through it and knocking out regions before they are able to build manpower. Because in Dark Mod, you're given too many cheats to be able to build up your economy too fast, but the AI gets more, especially the more difficulty you put on the game. So the AI is just building up army stack after army stack after army stack. And the other factor about Dark Mod to me that I did not really enjoy is the fact that you crash so much in it. It makes it unplayable for me in that way, because I don't think I've ever finished a Dark Mod campaign. I think I've said this before. I've done very successful in several campaigns, and then they just crash, and a lot of it is not just because of the intern, the Ottoman intern glitch. So if any of you here don't know, this happens a lot in vanilla and also a lot of the mods, is that the Ottomans will send a lot of single units right here, and they'll stack them up. And of course, you only have so much ability to make movement here, that once they have so many units here, it slows the game down to a crawl and then just eventually crashes it. So the thing you have to do to prevent that is start stripping regions away from the Ottomans, or put a ship here to blockade them from passing through. But a lot of times, or not a lot of times, but there is sometimes where putting a ship here will not help. Also, another factor, a lot of people I don't hear talk about, but a lot of things that will cause a crash is when you actually sign peace treaties with nations, such as if you were at war with Sweden. And let me find what they will do sometimes, is if you have an army on your land, they will take that army and throw them in a spot where they can't move. And sometimes that will be on one of the islands. I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's happened to me as Russia, and I signed a treaty with Sweden, and it put them somewhere where they couldn't get any movement, so it glitched out and caused a crash. Let's see. Swinging over to the live chat, I have a couple questions. Do you prefer naval or land battles? I prefer naval battles. I actually prefer both. I actually enjoy both. In Dark Mod, I do not prefer their naval battles in that. I think they actually, to me, that's the biggest reason why Dark Mod experience is ruined for me, is the changes made to the naval battles. Because basically it becomes who's got the biggest ships wins. And I don't like also the factor that they took out trade ships from the campaign as well, because the factor of you have to manage your warships and your trade ships, I think added a very nice element, and to recruit first rates and put them on trade nodes just defeats that purpose, and defeats a factor of the game that I think actually, once you understand it and get into it, is something that I think hurts Dark Mod quite a bit, because you lose that diversity, and obviously the factor that it doesn't take long to convert regions over, so it's an offensive minded campaign. So you always have to stay on the offense, and I'll be honest with you guys, most people that play Total War are very defensive minded. They'll sit their armies on regions for long periods of time, and they won't move, and they sit and wait. They're very slow to get moving, and that translates into the battles that they fight. They're very lackadaisical in their battles. They sit in one defensive line, and that's one factor. And that actually is a factor why I think the AI is considered so bad in Empire. And that's because the AI is so... it's thinking that you're going to fight a battle on where you have a battle of movement. Because this... Actually, Empire Total War is a battle of maneuvers. That's what basically Empire is. And a lot of people play it in their own ways, and they take the maneuver out of the game and sit static in defensive formations. History Expanded and Explained says, glad I found your channel. Hope you keep good. Hope you keep up the good content. I can't even speak. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. Landfill says, I hate it when the AI just spend 5 minutes on the... I need to fix this. Sorry, guys. On my other monitor, the text is a little bit too small, so I'm having to really strain to see and bear with the light. So that's why I might be stuttering, and it's also because I suck at reading sometimes. But anyway, I hate it when the AI just spends 5 minutes on their turn moving individual units one by one and then back and forth. Yeah, that's that's really the biggest problem why you get a lot of crashes. So to do that, you really have to attack them to jar them out of that movement. So they start sending forces to adjust to you. So it's mostly when you're fighting, you're not fighting a nation, and they're sitting static, not at war with anyone. They're just leaving their units and marching between things. It's a pain in the butt. What's your opinion with the auto resolve? Because I find it very wonky and dodgy. So the auto resolve is awful, if especially the more difficulty you put on the game, because it's going to factor in if you have cav. You're going to get better results if you have a lot of cav. But it's crazy because you could have everybody here should know how to defeat cav in the game. It's quite easy. You just shoot them down. Cav can't stop bullets. I always love fighting against AI armies with lots of cav. It's easy to beat them. So Landfill also asked, I have had, when playing Poland, where two of my many heavy first rates lost to a very damaged Ottoman brig. So that the thing is with the naval battles, with the first rates are very slow, and the reason why you'll lose a lot of time to brigs is because they maneuver faster than you do, and they can maneuver around you, knock out your sails, and once your sails are down, it's over. The battle is going to be over. You're going to lose. So that's the biggest reason. That's why I find fifth rates to be the best ship, because it gives you a nice balance of speed and firepower and hull strength. So it gives you a nice balance between those three. The next best ship, I think, would be a 6th rate. 6th rate gives you a little bit better range, and it gives you better speed, but it doesn't give you the firepower. History Expanded Explained says, have you seen the movie Michel de Reuter? It is a great movie from my country. I love it. No, but I actually, I just watched a foreign movie or series on Netflix. It was Thieves of the Woods, I think. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, and I found that one pretty good series. Our Research says hello, sir. Appreciate you coming to the stream, and yeah. But as far as that series, I love the time period of Empire, and I think that's one of the great things about it. So I do find myself watching a lot of movies that are based in that time period. So Thieves of the Wood is based in Flanders, and it's basically kind of like a Robin Hood story, if you will. Thoughts about fourth rates. Fourth rates are too slow for me to use. Anything above a fifth rate, I do not use. And the reason is, a fourth rate does give you more firepower than a fifth rate, but the lack of range over a fifth rate and the lack of speed is the problem with the fourth rates. Because I can actually take two fifth rates and fight against a whole darn fleet of fourth rates and win without too much problem. And the same goes for third rates. Third rates are actually even easier to defeat because they're even slower. The heavier it gets, the slower it is. And actually, so in multiplayer, in naval battles in multiplayer, there used to be people that would play battles that would do the rules that just bring one ship. So a lot of times, especially in 4v4s, what would happen is you would have a lot of people bring a heavy first rate or something like that, and then the people that know how to play are going to bring an admiral's fifth rate and rank it up, and you're going to win that every single time because you outranged them and your speed is better, so they can never catch you. They can't get in range. All you have to do is knock out their sails, and then you can sail around them and then easily knock them out. I recommend the movie. It is based on the 17th century admiral from Holland. I recommend. You know what? I might have watched that, but I think in English it's called something else. It might be called Admiral in English if it's the same thing. But I have watched one called Admiral. That was a foreign movie, and it was really well done. I think I watched it on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but it was a very good movie, and I really highly enjoyed that one. How about a bomb catch? Okay, so the thing with a bomb catch is you have to protect bomb catches with fleets, and if you ever fight a naval battle against the AI, you'll always notice the AI is very good about protecting their bomb catches and their rocket ships. Because the thing you got to do is that's the focal point of your attack is going to be to knock out that bomb catch or rocket ship as fast as possible because of the damage it can inflict upon you and easily win a battle for them. So you have to have protection for those ships, and honestly, like the AI is so much better at using bomb catches and rocket ships because it is a very micro intense ship to use, and naval battle is all about micro, and that's why a lot of people find it very difficult, especially the more ships you have to control and fight with. It becomes very difficult to manage, and basically it takes time and a lot of experience to be able to micro that much. And like I said, the thing I find with bomb catches is when I'm fighting, it's very hard to keep the enemy ships in that window because it's a very narrow window a rocket or a bomb catch has. But they are very effective if you can manage to do it. Landfill says, what in your opinion do you think is the most OP AI faction? I find that the Marathas are OP and generally push through the Ottoman and Russian land. Yes, they absolutely do. On a very rare occasion, you'll actually see the Mughal win, and it usually happens about maybe, in my campaigns, I see it happen maybe about 5 times out of 100. You'll see the Mughal actually become that orange crush that the Marathans are. Now, in Europe, believe it or not, Poland, Lithuania, depending on what nation you play now, this is a big factor. But let's say if you're playing Great Britain or Spain or something like that, where you're not really directly in that Central European fight or the East European fight, Prussia gains ground very quickly in campaigns. But then, because they're going to always be at war with Poland and Austria, and what's going to happen is, slowly they're going to take Bavaria and Rhineland and all that, and they're going to start becoming that unified Germany. But I think they overexpand too much, and the Polish-Lithuanian AI starts stripping it back from them, and they become very big and very dominant in a lot of campaigns as far as AI goes. Okay, so history expand explain. Yeah, I do not recommend the bomb catch or the rocket ship. They're only good when you are fighting small fleets like for first rates. Yeah. Like I said, it's because the other ships can close the ground. So if you only have a bomb catch and you only have a rocket ship, those other fleets are going to gain ground on you, and it only needs to be one volley against you to blow you out of the water. One volley of solid shot. That's all it needs. And that's why I say the AI is very good about protecting their bomb catches and rocket ships. If you ever fought naval battles, you'll know, because what the AI has better than human players is it micros way faster than you do. And actually, let's go ahead and fight this battle here. Even though we're way overpowered over them, just because I want to show you like different Russian tactics that you can use in battle, and maybe we'll get in a multiplayer battle here in a few minutes too, and I can show you. Russia is definitely the hardest nation to play especially in multiplayer. It's harder than any other nation because of the lack of firepower they bring. Sorry, I had to get some sweet tea in me. Keep my vocal cords going. Okay, so don't forget, guys, if you are in the chat, don't forget, we love our live chat. We love chatting. So don't forget to hit us up in the live chat. Now, in this battle, I'm not even going to need the artillery. It's going to really be kind of non-use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Cossacks and I'm going to stack my Strelski behind them. I just probably mutilated that again. We're going to take our line infantry. Whoops. Got the Cossack too. And we're going to stretch them out. And I might actually put them in 2 lines just because it gives me better maneuverability. And like I said, this is a game of maneuver. So when you fight a battle, outmaneuvering your opponent is crucial to you winning every battle, or winning as many battles as you can. Landfill, I feel like Russia is very good for defending on walls and forts, but pretty weak on in the field. Actually, it's, to me, I find it to be the opposite, and because to me, Russia is a very aggressive nation. But most people don't play them as an aggressor. Most people play them as a defensive nation. So that would be some of the problem. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try and... They're bringing up their pikemen first. Now this isn't really probably the best example because they're all spread out. They got their guys behind lines. But I'm just going to kind of show you a example of how I'd go about this battle to make sure I minimize my losses here. Alright, so these guys have volleyed. Let's get them out. Now let's get our line infantry up here to volley while the militia reloads. And like I said, since we have firepower over them, this was a rare occasion because they can't shoot back. It's kind of a nice thing to see as Russia, isn't it? Okay, you volleyed, get back. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm basically interchanging my lines to increase my firepower because, again, Russia's at a disadvantage in being able to shoot, so I am doing what I can to maximize that. And it's all about maneuvering. And as units fire, I cycle them back and forth in. And this is something that can help you, especially in multiplayer playing Russia, because you fight a lot of people that like playing as like USA with all their Marines and everything like that. And after you whittle them down a bit, they become very susceptible to melee charges. So now we'll give this guy a window to shoot. Get them out of the way. So we've whittled him down quite a bit. He's actually getting a little bit of melee there. And now we're going to send in our Strelski. And what we're going to do is, again, guys, it's a game of maneuver. So I'm going to maneuver as I send in my melee infantry into the pikemen. And now he's flanked, so he's going to take morale drops. Even with his general around him, he's going to start taking morale drops. And we'll send in our general to make sure our old boy here doesn't break. And you see how easily he breaks. Because this is an easy example because we're way outnumbering them. Now I have mobility over them. They have less units. So now we're going to start using the cav. I don't want to suicide my cav, which a lot of people do. A lot of people love suiciding Cav. It's very sad. Those guys have loved ones too. Let these guys reload a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our mobility from our Cav to jar this line infantry out of this defensive position. And meanwhile, we're getting our guys to reload. And even getting shots on their general. But I can show you, hopefully I can get some multiplayer battles in, and we can kind of show you some of the reasons why the Russians can be quite difficult. Because it is definitely not easy to pull off. Here's another quick tip for you. If you volleyed your front line, just jostling your guys around will switch who is in the front and give you guys that haven't shot to be able to fire. Okay, so we're quickly enveloping him now. And again, maneuvering, we're getting shot, but in the long run, we're going to take less losses, especially early campaign, because we are not going to be fighting as accurate of units. And you see, I only lost basically just over 10 men. And he's going to take... See, his flanks are exposed. So he's going to take morale drops there. And now I'm going to launch a cav charge into his general. And we are going to go into melee with this guy. Because what is Russia best at? Melee. Watch him crumble. Especially being surrounded like this. He is just going to buckle under. Because Russia loves their cav. I mean, loves their melee. Now, we got a militia here. We're just going to straight up rush them. And that line infantry was hanging in there for a minute, wasn't it? This militia has a oh crap moment. So we're going to send in, before hopefully he gets a volley off, I'll get the cav into him. Yep. So it's all about timing, really. Especially if you have melee cav. So with using Russia, again, you have to really perfect your melee cav uses. And to do that, you don't want to ever run your cav directly into a unit that hadn't volleyed, unless you can hit him before he shoots. What I'm trying to do is push my cav through so I can attack him from the back. Actually, we're just going to force everybody through. That should break him completely. Okay, now we should be able to get a good cav charge in on him. And that should be going through him. Alright. I will be going to have... I'll have to be going. Have a nice day. Thanks again, History. I appreciate you for dropping in. Alright, and there we have it. That was an easy little battle. A little bloodier than it should have been, but... now we have defeated the Swedish in detail. And that was actually how Napoleon did it so well. Okay, so... that army's gone. That leaves open Livonia, Riga, and Estonia for easy pickings. And I don't believe there's any Swedish armies nearby. But what we can do is we can actually make that one where we can build this up and not have a rebellion. Because only 197 we're getting out of income. We're still making 5,000, and now we can make an advance on this region and take it from Sweden. And then we'll go up here, take Karelia back very quickly. And we're on a roll now. Because, again, our income is going to be just making some massive strides. So, hopefully that campaign guide kind of helps out a little bit. How do you keep the other units highlighted while you maneuver others? Okay, that's a good question. Let me save this and I'll go out and I'll show you a couple examples. of... yeah, I hold down the space bar. Is exactly how I do it. Landfill's got the answer. Let's see if we got any multiplayer up yet. Nope. My friends will probably be on in a little bit. And we can maybe jump in a Finland game and do some examples of Russia in a battle. But let me just do an example here in battle against AI. So we'll give the AI a real good Britain build. We'll give them their best units possible. We'll do two rifles, 4 light dragoons, and we're going to give them Coldstream guards. Now, the thing to remember with Great Britain is they are a great defensive nation. They are absolutely, without a doubt, the best nation in the game when it comes to defense for melee. Okay, back to the chat. Landfill says you need to look in the key bindings controls because it could be a different key. Okay, let me actually show you. He's right though. The spacebar, holding down the spacebar, I think is what you're asking. So let me build now a Russian build to counter that army. So looking at this build, they have 16 units, and that's including a general. So what Russia lacks in the ability to build in firepower, what they do have is the ability to outman the British. So what we can do is, if we spend our money wisely, we can build a bigger army that can provide a bigger punch for us. That hopefully we can create some nice damage on these British scoundrels. And actually what we're going to do, I'm trying to think here. Actually, we're going to build some melee cav and an extra general. So, actually, I don't like having that 50 extra. We'll just do it. All right, so we'll see if a very pitiful Russian army can beat a great British build. And we're going to be aggressive because that's what Russia is aggressive. Now, this might not be the best example because, after all, we are fighting AI. But we're putting the AI in its best possible position because we're giving it grassy flats, so it has the ability to take advantage of its firepower. And we don't have hills to take advantage of nice downhill charges and the like. So they're definitely at a major advantage over us. But what the advantage we have and what we're going to have to use is our numbers and our mobility, because all the British guards are going to lose mobility. Now, holding down the space bar highlights where your units are and highlights where they go. So in maneuvering, and this is how we have to beat the British, is we're going to actually take and bunch up our army, and I don't like when they see, I'm very particular about my organization of my units. I like them to be left to right as they are on the unit cards, because sometimes I have to go and look at the unit cards to see where my guys are. Alright. Like, I expect my light dragoons, like if I'm going to grab 2 light dragoons and I want them on the right, I know I can just go here, grab these 2 light dragoons on the unit cards, and then I can take them and maneuver them somewhere. But if they're all jumbled up, it makes it a hard thing to keep up with. All right, so let's do it. We're going to group these guys up, and we're going to go after them. Britain is... Oops, sorry, I hit the mic. Hopefully that didn't blow up your ears. Okay, so Britain is spread out, and they are a smaller army. That does not benefit them. So one thing you don't want to do in a battle, no matter who you're against, is you don't want to go up and rush and lose your cav. That's the last thing you want to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we only use our cav if we have infantry support or light infantry support. Okay. So as we jostle our way forward, we're going to attack certain spots of the battlefield, and we can leave and kite other spots. And what I mean by kite is basically like retreat. So we got the cav exposed here. So I'm going to show you why you don't want to go in and fight a cav battle without support. Because the difference line infantry makes for your units is crucial. And you don't want to send your light infantry up without cav support either. Alright, here we're in range to shoot on him. Now he's volleyed, so I should have open volleys on at least one of the light dragoons down. And I got a line infantry. I did lose a goon there. He got a great shot. But he's going to lose one as well. And what I did here is I am now targeting to shoot the goon instead of using melee. You see how I'm targeting him? That's because you see him, they're shooting. They're reloading and shooting. See, he's in melee. He's got his swords out. While my guys are reloading and shooting. So that's how you can win any cav battle. Whoops. And I'm not paying attention. And this is how bad the AI can be. And how bad I can be sometimes. Alright, so now what we're going to do, because we're going to win this fight, and we're going to win it, should be easily. Okay, so now in a basic attack, what I will do is I can now send my guys up to maneuver around them. Using my light dragoons. Okay. Now he's supporting light dragoons over here against my line, but I have other line infantry that I can support with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get in a melee after we volley. We're going to bring these guys up. We're going to sweep around and bring in these guys for support. Let's get in there. Push through. Alright, they got a Ferguson rifleman, which will make short work of me, so we got to get rid of him. We're going to send these generals over here to help get rid of them. Okay. You can see my line infantries are not going to be great against them necessarily here, so we're going to have to give some support to these poor beggars, because I am losing that fight. But we should be able to break this flank and kill their general. Once we do that, like I said, it's all about using the manpower against them. Because run them down. Got the other Ferguson rifleman causing some problems here. Simonovsky Guard opening up is really helping. So I kept my Simonovsky shooting, and I kept my lines a moving. See, we'll even throw him into melee and back. Let's bring the Hussar over here. And that should be it. And like I said, this isn't maybe a great example because, after all, it is AI, but it can give you an idea of how you can use the Russians against superior armies. Because, like I said, even still with AI, this is a very good British build I gave them. Okay. Gotta punch the Cav through because that Coldstream sure doesn't want to die. He's got 31 men still fighting. And that's about it for him. Should give up. Yep. Alright, so it's all about the maneuver, guys. All about the maneuver with them. Okay, so... Okay, so you can see how I utilize the spacebar to be able to see where my movements are going to help me with my maneuvers. And then, like I said, the thing is, you have to identify where their units are, where their best potential is to do damage to you, so that way you can eliminate them from the battlefield. So, that being said, let's see. All right, we're going to jump in this grassy flat game here. I don't know who these people are. Let's see. Maybe I do. I don't know. Whoops. We'll see what rules they got, and then maybe we can see if we can prevail as Russia with our Swedish ally. Okay, guys, what's the rules? Hey, Ryan. Ryan says it's all about the maneuvering is changing my entire outlook on battles. Thanks, man. You had already helped me with the Empire Total War so much before today, but this is really a game changer. Yeah, it's, you know, it opened my eyes a lot. Way back in the day, there was a guy named Synoptic Cam, and he was the first one that started talking about it. Hey, how you doing? Oh, Gunny recommended. Yeah, Gunny's a good friend of mine on multiplayer. Thank you. I'm glad you joined along. It's for everybody that's joining in. I appreciate you guys all, everybody's support. Okay, they're not talking, so I don't think there's rules in this. Okay. So, no rules as Russia is extremely hard because this guy is going to play as France. This one is the Dutch. The Dutch will be Sweden's problem at the beginning, but France is not. Okay, so no rules. Okay, so that makes it a little difficult. So, obviously, they're going to probably bring mortars and all kinds of crap artillery, but this is a grassy flat game, and I will tell you that Mortars are not necessarily the best unless you're using explosive shells. Their accuracy is terrible, and you're going to lose a lot of manpower using mortars. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a fairly balanced army. And I'm going to rank up my guys a little bit. And the reason I'm doing that, bringing a balanced army without artillery, is because artillery on grassy flats is not very effective, and with the exception of mortars. Mortars can be fairly effective, but if they bring a lot of mortars, that means they got less infantry. And if they have less infantry, that means it's easier for me to be able to quickly push up, get in close on them. The closer you are, the less effective the mortars are. Now, it could be possible that they have their entire army is light infantry. Or riflemen, if you will. Light infantry, rifles, same thing. But if they have a lot of light infantry, that will make it difficult for me. That's why typically when it's no rules, I just go as Austria and spam Grenadiers. Because Grenadiers, once you get up close, Grenadiers are absolutely deadly as hell. And nothing can get in your way. And actually, one of my friends, Honey Badger, used to always ask me, how do you win a no-rules battle? Because they always bring all those damn mortars and make it such a pain in the ass. And so I told him, use Grenzer spam army, and you can win it easily. And he did it, and he loves playing no rules now because of that. Okay, so Sweden has brought artillery, some line infantry, few rifles, but he's brought heavy cav, no light dragoons, and this is an open ground fight. So what we're going to do, I don't know how long it's going to be possible for Sweden to stay alive, but we're going to go right after France, and I'm going to do so on France's flank. Now, it is possible that these two guys are going to end up being right next to each other, but if they do, I'm just going to swing around them and attack them from the flank. But what I'm doing, you'll notice, is I'm spreading my men all the way out, because if they do have mortars, the more spread out I am, the less effective the mortars will be against me. If that makes sense. So I'm going to get as spread out as possible. And I'm going to use some of these light dragoons to extend my flank over here. And we are going to keep our general back a little bit, because if they have mortars, I definitely don't want to lose my general. Yeah, Grenadiers are great. They're absolutely phenomenal. All right, let's get this party started since nobody is. That tells me nobody hit ready yet. That tells me they're setting up for a defensive slug. And look, my ally has left a big gap between us. So I'm not even going to worry about that flank because it's too far removed. I'm just going to push everything I got on the opposite flank, because right now we're two separate armies, which they could both come down upon either one of us and defeat us. Typically I'd stay together, but this guy, I don't know how good he is. I don't have much faith in him anyway. So we'll see how it goes in 20 seconds. This could be an utter disaster, but we'll find out. Like I said, playing as Russia is definitely not easy, to say the least. But the one thing that is good about it is you do have money to spend as Russia to bring a nice, good, big army. Look, just like I said, they are spreading out, or they went to kind of, they didn't go together. This guy's all the way, so they're two separate armies as well. Let's see what he's got. One, so he's got 3 mortars and 2 howitzers. He's only got 6 line infantry. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So he's got 4 light infantry somewhere. Most likely. And he's using mortars on me, but he hasn't inflicted any shots on me yet. So, let's sweep the cav around. Need to spread my light infantry out a little bit more. Because I don't want to take needless damage from the mortars. But we are just going to continually sweep around them, getting in closer. Actually, I'm going to keep 2 cav over here. Okay, he's using solid shot too. That's kind of sad. Yikes, that's pretty sad. Okay, so what he's doing is he is coming at me with the Grenadiers and the light and his cav. So that's a good thing for me, because we're going to take out his cav right now and take his mobility away. At least a couple of his cav. Okay, he is at least being a little bit aggressive. I like that. But he is vulnerable right here. We're going to see if we can get after it. Okay, man, my liner infantry is going to be tired. Okay, he is springing forward, but he's a little bit late. So we're going to get... he did get first shot. Don't break on me, damn it. Okay, good. Here comes the heavy cav. We're going to take out his heavy cav. Look at that. Heavy cav is no match for bullets, man. Okay, so we're putting everything we got on this cav here. We don't want him to get out of there. So far, so good. Alright, he did get 1 cav out of there, but this is where I'm talking about. I like to have my cav so I can go to my unit cards and be able to select them and move them. Alright. Want to reload here a little bit. Luckily, this kind of like lull in the battle has let me get my guys a little healthier. Now, I got to watch out for the Swedish cav. I've been kind of watching the mini-map to see if he's going to bring that cav over. But he hadn't yet. Now I have completely got the mobility on him. I can get around him and I can take out his cav, the rest of his cav. And look, he's exposed his artillery. Say goodbye to the artillery. It's about to go away. He might have light infantry somewhere in here protecting it, but even if he does, I'm going to see what I can get out of it. We'll at least find his light cav. Okay, so mortar's about to go away. Okay, you stand in reserve. So you can see, again, it's all about maneuver. Yeah, I can do one where you can join. Okay, let's pull you guys out. Now, look at this. We've got him, and now he does have howitzers, but unfortunately he's using solid shot. But again, now I've got him up close and personal with my light infantry, and I can just shoot him, and any misfires goes into his artillery. And we have complete maneuverability around him. Because with that being done, that one will come back, so let's run him down. Let's get in behind that unit. Okay, we don't want to be in a firefight with that unit. We can with the rifles, but... Whoops. Here come the Grenadiers. See, we can kind of be patient against these guys. Alright, he's about to go into a grenade throw. So we got to run out of that. And this is how you counter grenades again. Is you just maneuver into a section. You just got to watch and do a little paying attention. Okay, that's going good. Okay, now we can take out these guys. Okay, we're gonna end this guy. Kite. Okay. Let's get over here. And that's it for the French. Okay. Let's go help our ally here. It looks like he's got things pretty good under control, surprisingly. Let's take all of our light dragoons. We'll put mercy on them. I don't think the infantry will ever get over there in time. But our cav will. Alright, let's... you play Napoleon Total War? That's sweet. Yeah, a lot of people that play multiplayer do play. Actually, the Swedish guy looks like he is losing. I don't know. It's hard to say. But now we've got it. I don't know. He does have the cav, so... Now, we're not going to just rush up and go right face first to him, because then we'll get shot. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to maneuver. It's all about maneuvering. So we're going to keep him moving. We maneuver faster than line infantry. What he's doing is he's going into basically a hexagonal shape here. So we can pinch the corners of it, and he can't really do as much damage to me that way. He does have 2 heavy cav, and unfortunately I just shot at some of the retreating guys. But these light dragoons here will be all that he can handle. Alright. All that's done. Let's get our infantry over. Alright, here we go. That's an owie. Owie, owie. Alright, so here's a tactic. Some people ask, can you dismount your light dragoons? Or do you ever do it? And yes, I do. And I'm going to show you a good example of that. Right here. This is a situation where dismounting your light dragoons can be quite effective. Okay, let's just make sure that they are dead. Okay, he shattered. Because dismounting them here in this little pinch of an area, I will take less losses and I can maneuver better into little spots. And even if he wants to come up, I still have so much firepower and maneuverability on him. Because watch this. I can quickly take him down. He does have a rifleman there. But I've already got him down to in the 30s. But this being in on the ground is a lot harder to shoot a light dragoon than being on foot. I mean, a horse. Alright, he's mass routing, so it's over. Now we can go back to our horse if we can even mount. So that's that. I didn't even lose a unit. Oh my god. Okay. Hey, Mystic Philosopher, how you doing? Okay, so that will show you a little bit of the maneuverability of that. Let's see. My multiplayer friends are street. All right, let's see if we got a Finland that we can do, and then I can show you against some better opponents that using Russia is not easy by any means. And like I said, I mean, going up against some of my friends, I probably, you know, I can win and I can lose. So yeah, it can go either way. Amazing. Yeah, it's all about maneuver. But again, you can easily, you know, I can lose just as easily as I win, because I am a very aggressive player. So okay, sorry, I'm chatting with Gunny. And I'm waiting to see your friend request. I haven't gotten it yet. But if we get a Finland up, I'll jump into Finland and see what's what. Matter of fact, I might just host it. See if we can get some of our friends in here. Try and get the ones I know are online. Let's see who else is on. Okay. We're going to set rules on this. Sorry if I'm neglecting the chat. Okay, let's see here. He's watching our president. Okay. Some of these guys are from different parts of the world. I got some people that I play with are from Australia, some from Turkey, some from France, Germany, all over the place. So yeah. What is the most fun Empire Total War campaign in your opinion? Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say that playing as France, I always love. Prussia, I always love. I think I always have kind of had the most fun with Prussia and France, but Poland, Lithuania as well. Poland, Lithuania if you want just more of infantry fighting. France if you want more of the naval and the ability to get to other continents quicker. And Prussia if you're just wanting an all-out scrap, if that makes sense. Yeah. Make sure they understand rules. A lot of times we have people that join the games and they don't follow the rules. And the reason we do these rules is because we're trying to make it easy for anyone to join in. And usually if we do art games, they all basically bring mortars when we don't want fixed artillery, because mortars are just kind of lame. You know, very lame. Here comes Eno. I don't know any of these three guys here. Gunny is one of my friends. Eno is one of my friends. Let's see who else is on. Hi and Leonidas. Yeah, Poland, Lithuania is a little bit of a challenge, but I also find it a really fun challenge. Sorry, let me make sure these guys understand rules. Hey Landfill, how you doing, man? Glad to have you back. Okay, so let's see if these guys understand the rules of this one. This guy, I don't think he understands rules because he says wait. Polina is on. Okay. They might have to go because they don't understand the rules. Okay. They're going to have to go. Alright. Definitely deserve more subscribers, my guy. Only 15. Actually, 1,050. 1,050. Yeah, so we got a ways to go, but we're getting there. We finally busted 1,000, which I'm happy. Things have been going up on the up for subscribers. I'm going to make them tell me the rules. We're going to have to balance this one too. Okay, let's see what kind of army build I can do here. Thank you. Great dedication. Keep it up, man. Thank you very much. Your stream was in my recommendations. It says Daniel. Thank you. I'm glad it was. I'm glad to have you guys all here. Thank you guys, everyone who's joining. I definitely appreciate everybody's support. It's definitely been a long and tough journey. Okay, it seems like Emil's got the rules. All right, let's see who can I just off from getting. There we go. All right, so we can bring 3 guards. Try and balance this because Gunny, Leonidas, and Eno are all friends, and I don't know Eric, and I don't know Delta, Dan, or Emil. So that way it gives us a little bit of balance in the game. Empire Total War is such an underrated game. I bought it for like $6 on GTA, and I played like 1,400 hours. Yeah, it's very underrated. It's a much hated on game, but it actually can be quite fun. Actually, I'm missing a light Dragoon here. Oops. Must have made the worst mistake ever. Alright. So maybe bring seems like a $60 left over is too much. Maybe no general. There we go. All right. Sorry, just messing around with this build a little. And you might notice I'm very meticulous on how I keep my structure of my armies. It just makes it easier for me to navigate them. Okay. So I'm going to tell you this is going to be a difficult one because Eno is a very aggressive player and he loves Grenadiers. So this army build I have might not be the best to go up against Eno, but I mean, I'm trying to do Russia here, so what can we do? Okay. But it's also one of the most buggy games I've ever played in terms of AI when playing with mods. Yeah, it's got a tremendous amount of bugs and glitches and all kinds of nonsense. But I don't know. I mean, as far as fun factor, you just can't beat it. It is quite entertaining. All right, here we go. So Delta is in front. I'm going to try and take center. Damor, let's make sure they... This is exactly what I'm talking about. This guy broke the rules. He's got 3. He's actually got 5, 6. Oh, that's Yasuka. I didn't know that. I'm going to ask them if they want me to rehost. Because this guy is cheating. I even made him ask, tell the rules too. All right, we're gonna rehost this because this is gonna be a. So that's why if you don't understand the rules, you gotta ask for clarification, because now it just ruined the game for the battle for all the other players. But it's not a balanced battle. Because 6 riflemen versus somebody who only has 2 is just not a good match. NS is... Okay, so this guy is actually Yasuka. He's just got a name change. Alright, let's see if I can build that army again. So this is something that happens with multiplayer, unfortunately. Alright, need one more person. Polina's on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, back to the chat. Also, guys, don't forget about the live chat if you guys are new to the stream. We love our live chat. We love chatting it up. When I get in a battle, it might be a little quiet, so you guys might have to talk amongst yourselves. But we can always keep ourselves entertained here doing that. Oh, here we go. We got high-low coming. A lot more of my friends that I normally play with should be getting on. Should make for an entertaining fight. Let's see. Rope-a-dope is Dixon, but he is away. General Cody. I don't think we can get General Cody in here. I'll invite him just in case. You guys want to see General Cody? We'll see. He doesn't play as much as he used to. I don't usually like messing with him. I'm not going to invite him. I don't like messing with him because I don't know if he's doing a stream or something. I usually just let him come on his own. Mystic Philosopher would love a remake of Empire Total War. Yeah, it would be awesome. Oops. Rick Gamer. Hey, Rick. How you doing? Welcome. I have equipped my armies with a huge number of cannons. Yeah. The the artillery is definitely can be overpowered, and especially in campaigns. I don't know if some of you in the chat have seen, but there's a way to just destroy your competition with howitzers on when you attack a fort. If you don't know, I can, there's a way you can actually win without losing barely anybody. So all the people in this are people I normally play with. So that's good. We won't have as confusion on rules, which makes it nice. Percussive shells are so delicious. Yeah, they can be. Quicklime is the best for howitzers. Percussive is great for mortars. Let's see. Let's see if we can get the 6th Army. Or Stanley. There is 6th Army. There he is. Landfill says, quicklime the corner of the fort due the AI's incompetence. You got it, Landfill. That is it. That is a beautiful way to win a fort battle, although cheesy. Shrapnel shot on close range is extremely satisfying. Yeah, cancer shot. Yep, cancer shot is pretty crazy, annihilating some people. All right, so let me tell you about some of the guys on here. Yasuka is an older player. I haven't seen him play in quite a while. He's an old timer. And he loves doing like unique and different strategies and stuff. Hockey is a newer player that plays really well. Same with Hilo. He's a newer player. Eno is a longtime player. And he is a very aggressive player. And a very good player to use Grenadiers. His armies consist of a lot of Grenadiers. So it will force you into a lot of maneuvering. And he is somebody that likes to fight on the hill. Leonidas is a newer player that is really good. And Gunny is an old school player that has been playing for a very long time. So yeah, that's who we got so far. Just waiting on one more player. See who we can invite that's on. Already sent out a few invites. Polina. Maybe we can encourage him to come. Let's see. This is making me want to start a Russian campaign. Yeah, Russian campaigns, believe it or not, I mean, they can actually be pretty laid back and fun. If you do it like I was telling you, it actually can be really, really fun. I noticed a weird bug with the campaign fort battles when the AI brings reinforcements during the battle. Sometimes my men will just fire to the ground, causing friendly fire. That is sometimes a thing, and sometimes your guys will keep going through the motions of rank fires too. It's weird. Yeah, it is definitely a glitch. Okay, so Alfred is another one that we've played with as well. I don't think I have him as a friend. So this is going to be a pretty tough match. I'm not going to lie. William says, even though playing as Russia can be quite frustrating, But when the AI plays Russia on dark mod, they usually get way too powerful too quick. Yeah, that's because they have so many recruitment points because they have a large empire. Same thing with the Ottomans. But the Ottomans usually get war too many places. Russia at least has the advantage that they are kind of... well, part of their... A big, vast portion of their empire is bordered by an ally, Poland, Lithuania. So really, Sweden's their biggest contender that they have to go up against early game in Dark Mod. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Let me get ready. We're almost going to have a good match now. Ooh, boy, this is going to be a fun one. Gunny, he's always the last one ready, I think. He's an older guy like me. Okay. So, do you guys play multiplayer much? Or not at all? Multiplayer in Empire is pretty minimal. Most people play a lot of campaign in Empire. Napoleon Total War is more known for its campaigns. I mean, I'm sorry, not campaigns, multiplayer. Not many people play the campaign in Napoleon. That's why you have more people play Empire. William also noticed a weird crash when I drop off an army from a fleet. Huh, that's weird. I don't think I've ever had that. Landfill doesn't play multiplayer. Yeah, you know, I had went many years without playing multiplayer, mostly because not being able to find the time to do it, because it does take a lot of time. But once I did, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Does he have... He's got heavy cav. Okay, let's see what we can do. I can tell you the flank is going to be problematic for us. So, I'm going to try and get up there and help. Come on, Hilo. I guess he wants the... That sucks. I only got 15 seconds now to move to the flank. Alrighty, let's do it. Okay, so Eno fighting on the hill against him is extremely difficult because he's got an army that is built for fighting in the hill. And what I mean by that is he's got tons of Grenadiers. And when I say tons of Grenadiers, he's got 1, 2, where is it? 2, 3. He's got less than usual. 1, 2, 3. He's got at least 4 of them. And he's got support from Gunny, but We're going to fight on our terms here, not his. I don't mind giving him the flank, but I don't want to give him absolute immunity to do whatever he wants. All right, let's see here. You. He's going to make it difficult on me, I swear. Because he's leaving a gap here for me to cover. And you can see I've got the entirety of Eno's Poland-Lithuanian army plus all of the cav from Gunny, which is not going to make this easy. So what we need to start doing is laying stake lines. Gunny loves to sacrifice his cav in some kind of heroic charge. We're going to basically force Eno into taking this flank. If he wants to come over here, he's going to have to push the flank and wrap. We're just going to drop stakes here. Okay, thankfully he's starting to come back. Can't see what's happening in the rest of the battle because... Sweet Jesus. We have nobody in the center. So that's why he's shifting down. So we are going to completely give up this flank. Let them have that while they push this down here. If he can hit that flank of the Dutch. Okay, so what I want him to do is I want him to hit this flank here of the Dutch. And then they can kind of sandwich the Dutch player in here. And then I'll spread down and fill the gap here because most of their army is up here on this hill. So we can take advantage of this big time. I will gladly give them up this hill. Make them fight on ground that I like. Okay, he just took a shot at me with his rifles and only killed 4 men. So that's good, honestly, because he's volleying there. Sorry if I'm neglecting the chat here, but I'm going to... This is what I'm talking about. It's all about maneuver, guys. And what they're doing is they're pushing this flank and basically maneuvering themselves out of the battle here. Because I have my most mobile units here to the flank. I need him to push all in. Go. Tear him up. Okay, look, they see it, and they're starting to move their cav. I need him to push. He's got to go fast. He's taking too long. They're starting to react and shifting. See, sometimes you just got to see something and go with it. This flank now is absolutely worthless to them. Go! My God, go! Attack! There's only a couple units versus your whole army. Look at them shift. It's going to take them time. My God, he's taking too long. He's got... I'm going to go in with my guards. Now he's shooting through the woodlands with his rifles. My God. Oh, he suicide charged his cav. What a bummer. Goodness gracious. He's got all his cav here. Just want you to go. See, there's no fight happening over there now. Oh, Lordy. It's going to give me a heart attack. Now it's lagging. Okay, my guards are up on it now. He's attacking terribly here. No support. Well, that was a missed opportunity extraordinaire. My guards should just light them up. Putting some damage on them right here. Wow, he's gonna lose his rifles. Ugh. Sweet. At least Yaska's taking advantage of this. Alright. Shoot! Shoot the line. I mean the cav. It's killing your rifles. Goodness gracious. It's gonna give me a heart attack, I swear to God. Come on, push in. Oh, was there a stake line in there? Or was I just getting shot? And you can see nothing's happening over here. But boy, is it a mess over here. Don't shoot my cav. Boy, they are just getting lit. Now Hilo's pushing. He shot my cav. Okay, let's see what's going on up here now. How good are the Russian and to an extent Ottoman hand mortars? Okay, so we talked about that a little bit earlier. I don't particularly like hand mortars because of their lack of ammunition. They have a very limited supply of ammo. Wow, there's Austria's almost gone. He's got guards left and such, but Eno dropped. So that's the Polish-Lithuanian. So this battle is pretty much over now. Means the AI is just going to bum rush now. His computer overheated, he said. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, we're gonna go downhill more. Let's see here. Gotta try and break him at the center point here. Alright. Destruction of the Polish forces is going to commence. Sadly. Kind of cheesily, but... What a mess. Somebody else might be dropping. Bummer. It was turning out to be a good battle too. All right, they're gonna grenade volley. Okay, and again, this is how you counter grenades. You just have to do a lot of kiting. He's about to throw. Might get a shot. Nope, luckily I got out of it. Shit, here comes the Polish Cav. A lot of maneuvering here. It's going to make it easy for him to get a grenade throw there. Because he's got that cav as a disruption now. Okay, let's give him the melee. What a mess. Okay, sorry guys, I know I'm neglecting the chat here pretty bad. Just doing my best to get them back. Now I'm being left by my ally here. Back out of that. Come on. Okay. Oliver says, "Why are all those units so closely packed? So much friendly fire in the middle." You talking about over here or over here? I'm just Russia here, so. Okay, doing some melee. This one's pretty much over. Oh my gosh, it's getting laggy too. There we go. Alright, hockey left. That's my ally. Okay, we're just getting our melee push in here on. Okay, sorry guys, I know I've been kind of quiet. These multiplayer battles can get kind of hectic. Alright, now we got Gunny coming up over here. And we got the Polish line flanked. Let's move in closer. Let's bring our two guards up. Run them down. Alright, somebody desynced. So that caused it to end. Bummer. Let me restart. Oh goodness. It was they made a crucial mistake. Have you guys seen? They had too much of their forces to the top of the hill. They were trying to do a forced push. And my allies were doing the same mistake at the bottom, but I was able to get myself and my ally towards the top to push into that gap. But my ally just wouldn't push in with any aggression. So we kind of lost the advantage there. We could have really destroyed them. Could have really done some damage there. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that little battle. But you can see, again, you got to mix in the melee with Russia. And I tried to use my guards and my riflemen and my light dragoons as the firepower. And volley with my lines and melee charge. And okay. So, sorry about getting kind of lost into that battle a little bit, but I think that kind of gives a good idea for what Russia can do in a battle. Like I said, it's not easy, but if you're not wasteful with your army, you can really take advantage of the strengths of Russia with their melee attacks. But again, I don't know if you had a chance to see, but I would go into melee and hit them with the shock of the charge bonus, and then you maneuver to pull out, or either you hit them. So yeah, it was kind of that's the kind of things you have to do with them, and just try to outmaneuver your opponents. And in that battle, we outmaneuvered them to a pretty good extent. So, anyways, now I think we can just kind of open up the chat for just any questions you guys might have. We've been almost at 3 hours now. But yeah, Russia is definitely a very fun campaign, one that you guys can definitely enjoy. Hopefully the campaign guide did help a little bit there, and kind of talking about the units. Hopefully that helped a little bit as well. When I edit the video, I'm going to fix the mistake I made with not putting the screen up for the units that the Russians have, and hopefully that will give you a little bit better idea of what I was trying to talk about. Now, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But yeah, you can find all the units on Wiki Total War. Go under Empire, and you can find all the units and their stats, and that's a good way just to study them to see what they have. But again, with Russia, I didn't switch over. Sorry, guys. There we go. That's better. So with Russia and their units, their 35 accuracy is not great. It's on par with Austria for the worst. And their reloading skill is absolutely the worst across the board. Austria's next with 20, but 15 reload is just atrocious. So you got to really take advantage of their melee attack, which is tied for the best, but their charge bonus is way over what anybody else's is with 13. France's is close with 10, but that's where your best advantages will come from with Russia. So anyways, guys, I think we can kind of end the stream there. My throat's starting to get a little dry anyway. I hope you guys had fun with this, and if you did enjoy it, do you want to see me present each faction like this in a live stream, or do you think it's better just in the video format? At least this way we get a little bit of interaction, if you will. So, yep. I guess we'll end the stream here, guys. Thank you again for joining us. I had an absolute blast as always, and I'm probably going to have another stream this week. So look forward to seeing that. It will be probably a campaign stream. So look forward to seeing that. I should announce that in a day or so. And I'm probably going to live stream it on Friday. So you like the live stream way? Cool. So I think I might do that then. I might, for the next nation, which would be Spain, that would be a good way for us to talk about the campaign, the units and their tactics and everything else as well. So, I think we'll do that. Then we got Sweden. After that, United Provinces. And I already kind of went over the campaign of United Provinces, but then we can talk about USA and then, of course, the NATO factions, which I find to be a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys so much, as always, for joining the stream. I appreciate you guys, and we